Jesus freak here. Now, I'd been thinking of something that I wanted to do after I'd seen something come up in my feed. Someone had done a video about potential copyright issues that someone might have if they're doing, cover songs. And that kind of came up as something that might be an issue for me if I were to do certain things. I'm like, I've wanted to avail myself of certain content. Hasn't really been something I could do. A lot of the stuff out there is like, it's talking about doing proper covers of secular music. And they talk about, mechanical licenses and stuff, sync licenses. And I'm like, from what I understand, organizations I'd be dealing with are different for religious stuff. And they're not really set up for this sort of thing. It's like everything that's out there is either, it's about secular stuff or it's about using religious music in a church setting. And neither of that's what I'm talking about. There's times that I have used copyrighted content with, assuming a fair use exception where, it's about review, commentary, or it's just so mangled you can't recognize it, like with a couple years ago, the whole, Stairway to Heaven arpeggio thing. But when you're talking about, like, some things I wanted to do with one hymn set to the new tune of another, or, some other kind of messing around I want to do, it's like, yeah, I'm going to run into trouble. I think most people, like, we don't really care. Let them come. But it's like, I'm trying to be on the up and up here. When I started, and I deliberately didn't use this channel for that, because I have to be careful how my stuff reflects on other people. There's some things I deal with here that I didn't want reflecting on anyone else. So I started moving my videos to another channel. So, when I started using Nasby in some of my videos, I'm like, if I could get the rights to use certain music in my videos, I would. And it's like, why not just use it? Everyone else does. I'm like, I don't want to be the test bed here. You see, I've always taken into consideration a lot of things most people on YouTube just don't give a damn about. When I talk about, copyright, I could easily probably get away with doing some of the stuff I want to do. But it'd be a blotch on my witness. Not that some of the other stuff I've done hasn't been a blotch on my witness, but it's important that when I'm doing explicitly religious stuff, I don't want to break the law to do it. And honestly, I think too highly of some of these authors and composers to treat their work so trivially. So what am I talking about here? Several years ago I did a slightly truncated version of In Christ Alone. And I reharmonized it. I think I made some slight tweaks to the arrangement. And I replaced the words to, my hope is built on nothing less. And this was inspired by, at a church I was attending at the time. It wasn't my main church, it wasn't my only church at the time. I was going to 2, sometimes 3 services a day at different churches. And the reason I stopped going there was because it turned out to believe in the whole 7 church ages thing, which I consider to be very, very wrong division of the scriptures, and can lead to, although not in itself heretical, it leads to a lot of beliefs that are very heretical, such as Bullingerism. And I don't really want to get into that right now. But anyway, a couple times during their services, they used a medley where they took In Christ Alone and used the chorus from My Hope is Built as a bridge. But I realized that My Hope is Built itself fit with the In Christ Alone tune. In Christ Alone is what you call long meter double. Which means each stanza is 8 lines of iambic tetrameter. Now it's actually a little sloppier than that. But it's basically long meter double. My Hope is Built is long meter plus 2 lines of iambic tetrameter as a chorus, which in the usual tune is extended out to 3 by repeating the last. So if I, repeated the chorus twice, you'd have you'd have it just fit in just fine. But I alternatively said, what if you took the 7th line out of the tune? You shortened it from 8 lines to 7. And you use the last 3 lines for the chorus exactly as the way we know it, with William Bradbury's A Solid Rock tune. And I actually created a file in MuseScore. Now, many years ago, I had a video where it showed me doing stuff in MuseScore. You can see how I did it. But this is a long time ago. You know, I didn't even live at my current address at the time I did this. So, it's like, well, I went in, did my thing, and I have, you know, I can make a PDF, sheet music, I can make a MIDI file, WAV file, you know, whatever. And it shows exactly how you set My Hope Is Built on Nothing Less to the tune of In Christ Alone My Hope Is Found. And, you know, the nature of copyrights has always been, you know, that I wanted to do something with it, but really couldn't. Yeah, I could, but not really. You see, you got to go through a lot of rigmarole. I always make sure that my licenses, if I get them, you know, they cover exactly what I want to do. I don't want people to be shocked at the possibility. You know, if I were to get a license that said non-commercial use only, I automatically say, no, I can't use it. Why? Not because I'm using it commercially, but because I'm sub-licensing it to YouTube, and YouTube is using it commercially. You know, if I create a video, I upload it to YouTube. You know, I have to license YouTube to be able to redistribute it. Okay? So, YouTube takes my video and they put an interstitial ad before or after it. If my video contains stuff that says non-commercial use only, then I've allowed YouTube to do something I'm not allowed to do. You know, I can't give them rights I don't have. And that's on me. So they could say, you know, you're violating our license. And thus, you know, our copyright. That's why I go out of the way to make sure, you know, everything I have in my videos is licensed for commercial use or is in the public domain. And if I have to give credit, I give credit. I have a video coming out on Christmas Eve. You know, it comes out at 6 o'clock my time. That means, for example, 3 p.m. in California. It means midnight if you're in, like, Poland or something. And I used a copyrighted picture as the backdrop for the hymns that I used in it. They said, do whatever you want with it, just make sure you give us an attribution. And the attribution they required is on the video. It's right there, baked into the picture as I put it into the video. So it's like, there's no problem. I made sure that I'm not going to fall afoul of any copyrights. Plus, I put, the actual link to the site in the description. It's going to be here on this channel, December 24th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Christmas video. So, it's just how it's going to be. Anyway, I'm almost where I'm going, so gotta shut down. Jesus freak out.